Today, we're going to be talking about finding her edge. I just finished watching this series on Netflix, and I have a lot of thoughts. We're going to be unpacking it from the beginning to end. Finding Her Edge is a Netflix series. It has 8 episodes. It's about a family of skaters, specifically a man who has 3 daughters all into skating. They lost their mom, who is also a figure skater, and they're basically trying to save their rink because they've run into some financial difficulties. The main character, Adriana, the middle child, is caught in a love triangle between her first love and her new skating partner. So that's what Finding Her Edge is about. Some say reminds them of Spinning Out, a similar show that was previously canceled by Netflix. Disclaimer, there are going to be spoilers in this. So if you haven't actually finished the show, I'd suggest you go finish it and then come back to this video to hear all my comments. So first of all, I did like the show. I really enjoyed it. Such a fun watch, and I'm very hopeful that there'll be a season 2, because that is definitely not how it should end. Anyways, first thing that I'm going to talk about is the relationship between Adriana and Elise, especially in the beginning episodes. I feel like the show doesn't really flesh out the reason for the animosity between them, especially Elise's cruelty towards Adriana. We don't really get to know why. The show kind of tells us that a lot of it is because of competition. Elise clearly wants to be the star of the family, but at the time Adriana wasn't even skating. And even if she was, they skate for 2 different categories. Adriana is an ice dancer and Elise is not. She's a solo skater, so the cutthroat competitiveness is just very confusing. They're not in direct competition with each other professionally, and if their mom was such a good mom, how did she raise daughters that just hate each other? We didn't really get a lot of background to that. It just felt kind of an afterthought. Like the producers were thinking it'd be cool to have the sisters hate each other, but it didn't really make sense. Like, why do they hate each other? That was something I was really trying to figure out throughout watching it, and none of the reasons were really solid enough. I know the relationship improved towards the end of the season, but I feel like it could just have scrapped out. It's possible to introduce that sibling rivalry and have them get into some big fights without the unexplainable hatred. So, yeah. The relationship at the start, and even in the middle, was very strange, and there was no explanation for it. So that was a major problem. Also, Adriana, she stopped ice dancing, and I don't know if it's just me, but I didn't understand the reason for that. She says the reason that she dumped Freddie was because her mom died, and she had a growth spurt that Freddie didn't match up with. Okay, but is that why you stopped skating altogether? You can still get another partner. You can still skate for leisure. Is it Freddie or nothing? Surely not, if you do this professionally. Because in the beginning episode, when she was talking about hanging up her skates, I thought she suffered some kind of career-ending injury that she was going to have to recover from, but it was nothing like that at all. So, why did she stop skating? It just made no sense, honestly. And also from what I see in the show, the dad was an ice dancer. So was their dead mom. Then why is the father so snobbish of ice dancers? There were a couple of scenes where he was just looking down on that particular part of the sport, but if they are paying to use your rink, and you were previously an ice, then what is the reason? That just felt very random. I'm just listing off all the things that felt kind of random, and were not really fleshed out in the beginning. But moving on, they introduced Riley, and immediately I was like, oh my goodness, not the disposable black girlfriend trope again. We are tired. It didn't really end up quite like that even, but I'll come back to Riley's character at the end. I think I'm glad that they weren't really emphasizing on Riley being in love with Freddie after some episodes. I'm glad they stopped that midway because it's just unnecessary. Everybody's in love with each other, and it's kind of a mess. And I just don't want that disposable black girlfriend trope. But then one of the major things that I was really racking my brain about, it was really bothering me. Brayden was involved with both Elise and Adriana. So, yeah, he did hook up with Elise once, and they did kiss when she was at the hospital, but then he goes and he develops feelings for Adriana. Obviously, he is one of her love interests. So I want to briefly talk about this thing with recent shows are doing where siblings getting with one person. It's really irritating, and if you didn't find that kind of jarring or annoying, it's because you've been desensitized by shows like The Summer I Turned Pretty and My Life with the Walter Boys, but it's like those kinds of shows are desensitizing you towards how weird this whole thing really is. If you've been involved in any way with one sister or one brother, the other sibling is automatically out of the picture forever. You know. That's a social norm that's being eroded by shows like The Summer I Turned Pretty, and it's really just grinding my gears. Thankfully, nothing really went too far between Brayden and Elise. Even though that first hookup is kind of crazy. But let's just leave that. Okay, so when I saw Elise, I was like, I know this girl. Where do I know this girl from? I was really racking my brain. Then I remembered she's from The Next Step. She's literally from The Next Step. That was so long ago. I just thought that was really funny. We've talked about how the Elise and Brayden situation in the beginning was kind of weird. But then again, in episode 5, she tried to make a move on Brayden when they had that party that she didn't have an entrance to. That whole situation was frustrating. She did try to make a move on Brayden before he shut it down, and then she kissed Freddie afterwards. I don't even know, it was just such a mess, and I really disliked her character from the beginning up until very near the end. I mean, I guess she's finding herself and trying to understand who she is without skating. But it just shows that she hates her sister, and she wants to sabotage Adriana every step of the way. It's just really bad, and I just can't wrap my head around that at all. So that was just a mess, and it really made me furious seeing her go for Brayden when they had just announced that they were in a relationship. Whether it's fake or not, I mean, she doesn't know that it's fake, so what is the problem? What is actually her problem? That was really upsetting. I also have to ask, who even are Adriana and Freddie together? Because when they hang out, we don't get to see. There's a point that they meet up at a coffee shop or something like that, and he wants to hang, but it's a closed-door scene. So we don't get to actually see them hang out. There is no build-up between Adriana and Freddie. We don't even see flashbacks from when they were partners. All we know about them is through word of mouth. We know ordinary talk does not have enough power and does not hold enough chemistry to really get the message across to the audience that these people belong together. What I'm saying is that we haven't seen anything that would make us roots for Adriana and Freddie. I mean, definitely some people are Team Brayden and some are Team Freddie, but generally I would say 80% of online discourse is centered around Adriana and Brayden. That is not because Freddie's some bad person. Freddie seems like a great guy, but we haven't seen anything of Adriana and Freddie. We know that they had something in the past, but we didn't see that. We only heard that through what other people said. Anytime they hang out, which is very rarely in the series, we barely get to see it. So, I'm thinking it's obviously a build-up for Adriana and Brayden Endgame. If they want a season 2, they have to hold out. And a lot of online comments are mentioning that in the book she does end up with Freddie, but there's only one book, and ideally, I think the makers of the series would want a second season. The audience definitely wants a second season. So, I think it makes sense for her to not end up with Brayden right away. What I'm trying to say is the whole trajectory of season 1 is leading to a Brayden endgame from my point of view. Because that was all the romantic development, all the chemistry, all the scenes was packed with. I barely saw Freddie. The most yearning that I saw from Freddie was when he did that Mr. Darcy hand flex, and I wasn't even feeling it. It just doesn't hit like Braydiana. It really doesn't. And that's a deliberate move from the producers of the series because they really didn't put much effort into translating the word-of-mouth chemistry that Freddie and Adriana have into something that we can see on the screen. That's very deliberate. Just to hold out for a second season. A little off topic, but I guess I have to watch Spinning Out now. I was actually avoiding watching it when I knew that it was cancelled. Everybody loved it and was heartbroken it got cancelled, so I didn't want to sign up for that. But I've seen comments online talking about Spinning Out being so much better. Now, I have to watch it because I really enjoyed this one. Let's talk about Brayden now. Even though I'm on his team, something really upset me about his behavior. He's a professional skater, so he can't just walk out whenever he feels like it. The first time he walked out on Adriana was when they placed third in that qualifiers competition, and again when he was angry, and he literally broke off the partnership. I mean, he came back to apologize the first time, and I thought that would be the end of it, but then even after they won Worlds, because Adriana and Freddie were kind of becoming a thing, he also decided to end the partnership. And I'm like, you are an awful partner, oh my goodness. This is a profession, this is a workspace, we are athletes and we are working together. You can't just leave anytime things aren't going the way you want them to. I get why he was upset, and I get that he was hurt, but we have a gala to perform at. You can't just walk out. That was really annoying to see. Now, everybody online is talking about the end. Everybody is saying they didn't like it. It was a very strange end, I admit. This is when I'm going to bring up Riley again. Camille, the coach, is telling Adriana and Freddie that they should skate together since Brayden has broken off the relationship again. Well, I guess it was Adriana that broke off the relationship, but Brayden has broken off the partnership. So Camille is telling them they should skate together, and they're asking about Riley. Camille says she has a plan for Riley. Freddie, who is Riley's partner, doesn't even try to probe further. He honestly doesn't even care about Riley or what the plan for Riley is. He's really excited that he gets to skate with Adriana, the love of his life again. Whatever. And Adriana is excited for that too. So they head to the studio. When they get to the studio and they see Brayden and Riley there, tell me why Adriana is seething. Tell me why she is mad. First of all, I'm so mad at Freddie because we get to know that Riley's family took him up after Adriana's family dumped him, and he really does owe her a lot. But he was ready to completely cut off that partnership without consulting Riley, without speaking to her. He was just ready to jump at the opportunity to be partners with Adriana, just completely disposing her, and that was really upsetting. So when they came in and they were mad that Brayden and Riley were partners, I was confused. Freddie's asking Adriana, how do you feel about this? But I don't care how she feels about this. We actually don't care how you feel about this because the world doesn't revolve around you. They've been dumped, so Riley and Brayden are free to partner up. And the smirk that was on Riley's face, as if they wanted us to think that she's the villain. What the heck? Riley is not the villain. Riley is the one that suffered the consequences of you guys not thinking about anybody but yourselves. So when I actually saw them together, I was like, okay, period. Let's go band for band. Since Adriana and Freddie want to be together so much, they should be ready for the competition. So, yeah, that was how I felt about the end. But I'm really hoping for season 2, and I still am hoping for a Brayden Endgame. All in all, I enjoyed the series. It was quite fun. I would definitely recommend it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, give this a thumbs up. Let me know to make more commentary content.